Think that's it. We're live. Welcome to the 7 ways to get clients and customers with contentpreneurship using the 7 levels of understanding. These aren't like the official, the 7 levels of understanding. There's probably 70 levels of understanding here or more. This is just something I came up with the other day while I was waiting at the airport for my flight. My name is Ted Carr, if you don't know who I am, and these are my two lovely elephants joining us in today's Airbnb. So let's get into this. I'm going to show you the 7 different ways you can look at the client acquisition process or the customer acquisition process. And I'm going to show you a bunch of different elements that you may or may not already be implementing into your business. I'm going to show you many different things that you can use to get clients, different systems and processes, even softwares. But we're going to start very simple because if you don't understand the basics, then by the time we get to the 7th level of understanding, you're going to be super confused. So by the time we're done this, though, you're going to be crystal clear on how to get clients with ease, repeatedly and consistently. So let's get into it. The first one is very obvious, and this is how you'd explain to your grandma, to your mom, to your neighbor, how you get clients, how you get customers. Like, oh, like, what's your process like? You could say, like, well, I put out content and people resonate with that content and they end up becoming a client. That would satisfy most people, most people's curiosity. This is how I explain to my mom how I get clients, and she's super satisfied with that explanation. That's like as deep as she wants to go in understanding my client acquisition process. So it's all, but it's also important for you to understand this. Like, at the end of the day, if you're not putting out content, getting clients can be very hard. And if you do put out content, getting clients can be very easy. Even if, in fact, this base fundamental understanding is so important because even if getting clients isn't your goal, like it wasn't my goal way back in the day, I was just putting out content. I had a job, but I put out so much content and it was so valuable that clients or prospects started messaging me and commenting under my videos saying, do you offer one-on-one coaching? I want to work with you. So even if you don't even try, this method works very, very well. And I think a lot of people just frankly suck at this. And so, yeah, we're going to go deeper over the next few minutes here together into the other ways of getting clients. But if you're not even good at this, like if you can't get clients like this, then you need to work on something. What is that something? Well, you've only got one thing to work on: your content. And after working with now thousands of different contentpreneurs, I found that there's no single better use of time than improving the content. Better your content is, the easier it's going to be to get clients, even if getting your clients isn't your goal. That's how powerful it is. That's how powerful it is. In fact, just think of the most popular YouTuber you know, whether it's Mr. Beast or someone else. They don't even have to mention, hey, I'm looking for people to work with, I'm looking for clients, I want to help you achieve your goals. They just get reached out to on a daily basis. In fact, I know some of the people I watch, I've reached out to them and asked them, hey, do you offer coaching? I want to work with you. Even if I don't even know if they do it or not, because their content is just so freaking good. So that's the first level of understanding. Get this dialed in, and the rest of everything else I'm going to show you is just going to be cherry on top. And in fact, as we go through these, as we go through these, they're going to get more and more complicated, and they're going to get more and more unnecessary the better your content is. So the better your content is, the closer you can live in this realm right here. The closer your business can operate in this realm right here. You just do content, nothing else, and you'll still get all the clients you need. Your business does not need to look any more complicated than this. If your business does look more complicated than this, like mine does, it just means your content can be better. And if your business looks more complicated than this and your content's really good, you're going to have too many, you're either going to have too many customers or you have to turn people away or just dramatically raise your prices. So those are a couple things to keep in mind when considering what I'm about to show you. The better your content is, the closer you can keep it to this. But if you do add the other things I'm about to show you, you get clients even easier. So I know a lot of content creators, they're really good at creating content and they're so lazy with everything else that they don't do anything else and it still works for them. But the minute they add in the other layers I'm going to show you here, they get so many more clients so quickly. And that's why it's so easy to work with content creators inside of our business who already have a following, who already make awesome content. It's very easy to get them clients because we add on the others. We add on these other layers to their content system. So here's the next level of understanding. So rather than just going content to client, you actually have a conversation before the person becomes a client. So in the top example, you might go content and then you might like send them to a link to a checkout page, or they might just they might find your like PayPal link in your description, pay you for that, or they might go to the link in your bio, your link tree, sign up for coaching right there, or they might just send you some cryptocurrency, whatever, and they become a client. But when you start going content to conversation, it becomes 1,000 times easier to then turn those conversations into clients. And these conversations can either be in the DMs or they can be on the phone call or in Zoom calls, whatever. Just some form of interaction with the people in your audience increases the likelihood of them becoming a client tenfold. So this can be as simple as you make some content on Facebook. In fact, one of our clients just signed up to work with us. He's already made over 100 grand using this exact method, and he's wanting help because he wants even more clients. But all he does is put out content on Facebook. It's like written content. People comment underneath all his posts, like talking about his post, and he just replies back to them in the comment section, maybe start some DMs with them, and then they become clients. All from Facebook, nothing else. And just from written posts, not even making video content. And I should specify that when I say content, I don't mean video content. I mean images, I mean text, I mean audio, like any sort of content you like and your audience likes, that works. So yeah, just understanding that conversations lead to clients is a massive eye-opening insight for a lot of people. They don't really realize that. Like we found in our business, the months that we get the most clients are the months that we have the most conversations. It used to be the months I put out the most content were the most that was when I got the most clients. But now it's like, dude, if we're just having the most conversations, we get the most clients, even if my content stays the same. So conversations, either in the DMs, phone call, group Zoom call, however you like, even in person, they convert very, very well. One of the easiest ways to generate a conversation from some content is just to tell people to comment down below or to say something like, send me a DM with the word elephant. And then boom, a conversation is started. Yeah. So on Instagram, you might see me, if you follow me on Instagram, it's where we get a lot of our clients. I make stories on Instagram almost every day. And almost every day I have a call to action saying, send me a DM with the word hello, and I'll show you how to achieve this thing that you want to achieve. You get the DM hello, you have the conversation with them, they become a client. So this is that second level of understanding. Just adding in the conversation piece makes everything incredibly easier for you in terms of getting clients. The third level of understanding is breaking up that conversation piece into a couple different parts. So rather than just having a DM combo with someone or conversation in the comment section, you use that little DM combo or that little comment conversation section to get them onto a phone call. And then the phone call is what turns them into the client. I've seen a lot of people have good success just turning clients or turning prospects into clients just with DMs. It works very, very well. In fact, one of my past coaches, this is how he sold me. I just signed up for a retreat with him via text as well, via DMs as well. I've sold several packages via DMs as well. But when you get people on a phone call, it's so much easier. And then you might think, well, how do I get people on a phone call? Well, it's also very hard unless you have the DM prior. So having a quick DM prior, then getting them on a phone call, oh my God, makes it incredibly easier. So this is that fourth level of understanding. Content to DM convo, phone call to client. Boom. And this DM convo pretty much follows the same script every single time. This phone call pretty much follows the same script every single time. You don't need to be customizing this every single time for every single person. Obviously, you're going to make slight tweaks depending on who you're speaking with, but for the most part, you're going to be asking more or less the same questions in the DM convo, asking the same questions more or less in the phone call, saying the same things more or less in every phone call. Just like with every client you get, you're more or less going to follow the same game plan to get them results. If you have a way that's proven to get people, if you have a way that's proven to get people results, you're not going to just switch it up every single time. You're going to rinse and repeat that method to get your clients results over and over and over and over and over again. Of course, depending on the person, you're going to customize it, but use your best judgment. That's the fourth level. The fifth level is where it starts to get really good. And this is where you put out the content, and in that content, you make sure that you're actually really good at having a call to action. Like you make sure that when you tell people, hey, send me a DM with the word hello, and I'll show you how to do a backflip, you make sure that call to action is very, very powerful, very, very enticing. Like we've got a bunch of really good call to actions. One of them is, hey, I just interviewed 21 different millionaires and I asked them each one question. That question was, if you had to start your business over again and build $1 million business from scratch, what would be your one piece of advice? Or no, crap, that's not it. It's something like, I asked 21 millionaires for their one piece of advice when it comes to starting $1 million business. Do you want their answers? Boom. Or another one is, I just interviewed 12 of the highest paid entrepreneurs in the vegan space. Do you want the link to their interviews? Or another one is something simple like, hey, we just hit over $100,000 purely organically with no ads. Do you want our exact process? Something really simple like that. Those work well. I don't have them memorized, but we have a whole bunch of really, really good ones. So content with a call to action like that inside of it, bam, it really generates the DMs, which then really generate the calls. And then rather than just thinking it ends with the client, like, okay, we got the client, let's go on to the next one. No. You really obsess about getting that client results. And so the end result becomes a case study, not a client. So you go from thinking like, oh, I just want to go from content to client, to thinking I want to go from content to case study. That's a big shift. It's a big paradigm shift that is required for this level of understanding. Your end goal is actually not the client. Because if you get a client, what do you have to do? You got to get a whole nother client again from scratch. But if you get a case study, then what do? You take that case study, you turn it into content, and that case study becomes your content. So we've had several times where we upload a case study, it acts as our content. In that content, it has a call to action. It says, like, if you want results like Tori, comment down below with the word help, or send me a DM with the word help. So we take the case study, turn it into content. That content has a call to action. That call to action leads to DMs. Those DMs lead to a call. That call leads to client onboarding. And as we're onboarding the client, we might say something like, oh, well, what made you reach out in the first place? Oh, I saw that case study of you and Tori. Boom. And this is like a never ending cycle, because then that next person becomes a client. We work with them in the same way we work with Tori. We get them results as well. Take that, put it into content, and it just loops and loops and loops. And if you've got something like this set up, you've got a flywheel of success, a massive flywheel of success, never ending flywheel of success. So this is huge. Next is some deeper understanding in this. So you put out the content, and then, or you make content, I should say. You make content, and then you distribute it far and wide. You really get a distribution process in place. So you hire someone to put that same content on TikTok, on Pinterest, on MySpace, on Facebook, on YouTube. on Instagram stories, on Threads, on Twitter, on X, everywhere. You distribute that same piece of content absolutely everywhere. You can chop it up into different parts. You can take the long form, you can upload it. You can take the long form, chop it up into shorts, you can upload that. You can turn it into audio podcast. Just distribute that far and wide. And then in your call to action, rather than just saying, oh, send me a DM with the word blah, 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 you say, hey, I've got this free thing. It's a free guide. It's a free course. It's super epic. You can get it via link in the description. You can get it by sending me a DM with the word love or whatever. So it's like an actual like free product. It's a free course, free PDF, free MP3, something. People then say, oh, I want that. So they send you the DM. And that freebie actually lives inside of your community. So now not only are they in your DMs on social media, but now they're joining your community off of social media. We recommend using Skool. Now they're in your Skool DMs as well. So now you've got a conversation started with them on social media and on Skool. You're using the proven scripts. You're getting them on a call. You're using the proven script again. You're onboarding them, and you're walking them through your course material, and you're really actively coaching them to get them those results so they can become a case study, take that case study, put it back into content. The main difference with this one compared to this one is that this one, you really have to hone in the skill of setting up your team in place so you can really distribute that content, and that you've got like actual tangible freebies. You're not just saying, send me a DM with the word blah, 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 and I'll help you out. You're like, it's like a physical thing you're giving away. It could even be like a workshop you're giving away. And then you're getting them into a Skool community. And then you're really honing in on your course material and your different coaching calls that you offer every week, whether these are group calls or one-on-one calls. So if you got this in place, now everything above just got way better. This is you optimizing everything. And then lastly, I believe there's one more. Is there one more? Or was that the last one? Oh, there's one more. Yeah, it's a stop sign. I mean, stop. This is the last, as far as we go today. So in this one, you're like, Ted, this is crazy complicated now. Well, not really when you break it down. You get the content, you distribute it. Now you don't just say, oh, get the freebie and you give them a link to a community. You get them to go through a funnel where they put their name and email in. So you're like, hey, do you want this workshop? Because you got a tangible freebie now, not just a general call to action, but it's like a freebie for this workshop. They say, yeah, I want the workshop. You then send them a link because they DM'd you. They put their name and email into the funnel. As soon as they do that, they get added to a software like Alaware, for example. That triggers a notification to your team to call them right away. So your team calls them up, say, hey, saw you just opted in to get that free thing. Wanted to make sure you get the most out of it. Do you mind if I ask you a couple quick questions right now to make sure that you get the most out of it? Blah, blah, blah. Some script like that. They say, yeah, sure, sounds good. That call, then, if everything sounds good in that call, they'll get, that's like a quick 5-minute call. If everything sounds good though, they'll get passed on to a longer call for the following day or maybe even later that day, where they can potentially get turned into a client if they're a good fit. But regardless, even if that call doesn't lead to a longer call right then and there, that person is now in your Skool community where you're having another DM conversation with them, nurturing them. And then from there, maybe they get on another call next week or next month or a year from now. You'd be surprised how many people they aren't ready now, but they're ready like a year from now. And you onboard them. You've really optimized your coaching and courses, turned these people into a case study, put it back into content. When you get to this level, though, you really need a team. And the beautiful thing about this, in fact, almost every level you can have a team. You don't need to wait till you're at this level to have a team. But when you're at this level, you're like, that's a lot of work. Well, actually, I am living, breathing example that the more like complicated this becomes, in fact, the more complicated my business has become, the more freedom I've had. because I just keep delegating more and more and more. I just keep making more hires. So I'm about to go to the waterfalls here in Mexico in the next, I got to leave in like 2 minutes. But I've got someone taking care of our content. I've got someone taking care of distribution. I've got someone building our funnels. I've got somebody building our freebies. I've got someone taking care of Alloware. I've got someone taking the calls. I've got someone running the school community. I've got somebody helping out with the conversations. I've got somebody, or two people helping out with conversations, 3 people helping out with conversations. I've got 3 people taking calls. I've got people doing the client onboarding. I've got coaches doing the coaching calls. I've got someone reaching out, asking for case studies whenever someone says, "Hey, I got a result." And I've got someone taking those and then putting them back into content. So it's like I just have to have team meetings regularly. A couple times a week, I'll have a team meeting. And every now and then, I work directly with the clients. And every now and then, I make a new freebie. Like I'll host a workshop. So I'm just doing the things I really love. I love working with the team. I love working with certain clients, and I love making free stuff. So those are the different levels of understanding. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, cool. Go and implement. I'm going to head to the waterfalls. If you have any questions about this, post your questions in the comments below. If you would like some help implementing this right here or any of the levels, then visit this website. It's called 14minutecall.com, and you can schedule a one-on-one call with someone on our team, and we can walk you through step by step how we would set this up for you and what this would look like for you if we were to work together. So 14minutecall.com if you'd like some help actually implementing this. But that's it for now. I'll see you in the next video. Peace, ciao, and the elephants say hello.